Okay, I am back again. Septum fellas, this is the third video I'm recording today because I'm recording all of this week's videos in one day. So, this is going to be, so far, my tier list on each of the restricted legendaries. So I will be ranking them within the tiers. But this is just my opinion. If you disagree, feel free to leave a comment with your own opinions. But with that, let's get started. So, Mewtwo, don't. I have already explained this in like the past 4 videos. Don't use Mewtwo. It's completely and utterly outclassed by Caloric Shadow. Don't use it. It sucks. Next is going to be Lugia. It's completely and utterly outclassed by Terapagos. Don't use it. It sucks. Next is going to be Ho-Oh. I have Ho-Oh in B-. Ho-Oh's good. Ho-Oh's like really good. If you look at its meta matchup, it does well into Calyrex Ice, Koraidon, Zacian, Groudon, Zamazenta. So it has, you know, Sacred Fire is a great tool. You force basically all of the physical attackers to Terra Fire if they are Terra Fire. For Zacian normally runs Terra Water, so with that you just completely gut it. Zacian can't hit you for even neutral. You resist both of its attacks. Same for Groudon. Same for Koraidon if it's not running a Dragon move. Same for Zamazenta. You know, this Pokemon has potential. Next is going to be Kyogre. I think Kyogre's B+. People were saying it's washed. I don't think it's washed. In the Honolulu tour we just had, it got second. Apparently, they only lost because of an Origin Pulse miss. Kyogre's strong. It just needs the right team. So like, Archaludon is a great partner for it. I do think it needs priority blocking, whether that's for Farigiraf or Serena. But just make sure it has it. And with the right team, Kyogre will still do Kyogre stuff. So, it's gonna be Groudon. I think Groudon's A-. Good matchup into Miraidon. Still does good damage into Terapagos because it can't just Calm Mind. You can't Calm Mind for physical attacks. It does enable Pokemon like Raging Bolt. That's one of the big things. Groudon Raging Bolt is a really strong combo. The only downside is Precipice Blades is inaccurate, which is really annoying. Oftentimes you will think, okay, I need this to hit. I win if this hits, and then it just doesn't hit, and then you lose, and then you'll think Groudon sucks. Groudon doesn't suck. Groudon's good. The thing with Groudon is that it's currently fighting a battle in the slot of Sunsetter with Koraidon. And spoilers, but I think it's losing right now. But that doesn't mean Groudon's bad. Groudon's still really good. Yeah, Koraidon's in around A. Still really bulky. It's bulkier than Koraidon is. But Koraidon's more immediately offensive and faster and has more, Groudon has more flexibility with its movesets. Groudon's locked to one set, the Swords Dance set, with Precipice Blades and Heat Crash. Or Fire Punch if you want to bet a matchup into Ice Rider. But there's a lot I could say about Groudon. I'm going to save that for a future video. I have a future video planned about Groudon and Koraidon. So, next going to be Rayquaza. I'm putting Rayquaza in B-. We saw Tolaweb using Rayquaza in the Honolulu tour. That's like the closest thing we have to a Regulation F regional so far. A Regulation F, Regulation G regional we've seen so far. There were 2 people running this Rayquaza team. I'm assuming they built it together because it was the same team. But they did well with it. The Rayquaza has that one good team. And again, like I said in the previous video, you can't argue with Swords Dance boosted Terra Normal E-Speed next to Chien-Pao. So next is going to be base Dialga. Don't. You're completely and utterly outclassed by the next Pokemon on the list, Dialga Origin. I'm putting this in C+. I think if you want like a bulky Trick Room mon, you would rather just go with Calyrex Ice. But the thing is, this thing right here, you're a special attacker, which is something. You have some beefy Draco Meteors because of the Adamant Crystal, Adamant Core, whatever. And you have Telepathy, which allows Ursaluna to just freely click Earthquake next to you. And that's the main niche it has going for it. It's just a better partner for, it's just a better partner for Ursaluna. Now, you'll see it from time to time. You won't see it often, but that's also why it's not, like, super high. It's going to be Palkia. I don't think Palkia is good. It's not unviable, like these three. It's not unviable or outclassed, but what Palkia does is Palkia is a bulky Trick Room setter. It sets Trick Room for, stronger Trick Room mons like Calyrex Ice. But that's just the thing. Palkia wants that second restricted, which it just doesn't have right now. You could probably make it work, but it'll take a lot of effort. Next to be Palkia Origin. I think that's C+. No, it's faster than Palkia. It's base 120 speed. Unfortunately, it does have to rely on Hydro Pump, but that's not completely awful. It's a more offensive variant. I could see it working on like on Tailwind comps. Spatial Rend, Hydro Pump, Flamethrower, Protect, just 3 attack stuff. It's strong. It's fast. Not great, but also hence why it's not higher up. Next to be both the Giratina forms. Don't. These things are bad. Next to be Reshiram. Don't. This thing's bad. Next to be Zekrom. Guess what? Don't. This thing's bad. Next to be Kyurem White. Kyurem White does one thing, and that is just be a better Baxcalibur. It runs Icicle Crash, Scale Shot, Dragon Dance, Protect. It would be like B- if it just had Sword Stance, but it doesn't. And because you have to run loaded dice, you are now weak to Intimidate, which sucks. So it has good qualities going for it, but not the best qualities. Again, hence why it's not higher up. I feel like I'm a broken record here. Next is going to be Kyurem White. This is going to be B+ next to Kyogre. Again, only has one set, and that's the Blizzard Spam set. It's Blizzard, Freeze, Dry, Draco Meteor, or Earth Power. The item can vary though. It can be Choice Specs, Choice Scarf, or Assault Vest. Most commonly you'll see Choice Specs. But it has base 170 special attack. Terra Ice Choice Specs boosted Blizzards will hit hard, bro. It's like Articuno if Articuno was actually good. And also you will ignore abilities like Sturdy because of your ability, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's how that works anyway. Next is base Kyurem. I'm just gonna go on like Alicia. Don't use Solgaleo. Solgaleo, it used to have a niche over Duskmane, but now because Clear Amulet is a thing, it doesn't. So Solgaleo is just bad, don't use it. Next gonna be Lunala. I think Lunala is in the same tier as Groudon. It can do some scary stuff. Moonguy's beams after a Meteor Beam hit hard, and in a format where spread moves are everything, Wide Guard is an incredibly important tool to have, and then you have the choice of either Tailwind or Trick Room. Most often, you will see it run Trick Room, usually next to base Ursaluna. I think we still need to find, like, that one really good Lunala team. But Lunala's a good Pokemon. Shadow Shield is a really good ability. It's just renamed Multiscale. It's bulky. And again, it hits hard after Meteor Beam. So, Lunala's up there. Lunala's really good. Duskman. Probably in this tier with these two. I'm gonna say C+. Insanely bulky. Good speed tier for Trick Room. I think it's base 77. You're in Clear Amulet with Sunsteel Strike, Photon Geyser, I think. Swords Dance and Trick Room. People have been experimenting with a Dragon Dance set, but I don't think that's that good. I think you always just run Trick Room, Swords Dance. But it's hard to go wrong with Duskmane. Reliable Trick Room Mon, like Trick Room Sweeper. Really bulky. Takes less damage from super effective attacks, which is really nice on a Pokemon that bulky. Unfortunately, it can't hit Incineroar with its stabs. But if you have the right team, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. Dawn Wings, not completely outclassed by Lunala. It's bulkier than Lunala, and it's stronger than Lunala. And the only thing it's missing is Shadow Shield. But there's been one team popping up, and it's just Dawn Wings to Necrozma Psy Spam. Because it's slower than Lunala, you have a better matchup into Lunala, and you just click Meteor Beam, and then you just sweep with Expanding Force. It's kind of insane. I saw this thing with a Terra Water Rain boosted Surging Strikes from Urshifu. I'm just gonna get the rest of the don'ts out of here. So, don't run the Necrozma. Don't run base Zacian. Don't run base Zamazenta. Don't run base Calyrex. I feel like those are all pretty self-explanatory. Just don't run them. Next gonna be Zacian. Zacian's our first A+ tier. A lot of people say Zacian's wash. Zacian is gutted. It did kind of get gutted. You could no longer just pivot in and out for the attack boost, because they did nerf what's it called? Intrepid Sword. But you will often see it on balance comps, specifically on the balance comp I talked about last video. Sometimes the Tornadus will be a Pelipper, but Zacian is a rain Pokemon, basically. And you just run bulky Mons next to it, bulky balance Mons. Take advantage of Sword Stance, outspeed everything, and go from there. Next up is Zamazenta. Zamazenta's in the same tier as Kyogre and Kyurem White. This Pokemon's really good. After just the what's it called? The Dauntless Shield boost, you're already threatening a KO on Terapagos, which can be huge. It has a really good matchup into Terapagos. It's getting KOs after just one body press, and it's taking like 10%. After one body press, after one Iron Defense, and then it's taking like 10% from super effective hits. I was doing matches with Wiltank the other day. He beat my ass with this. He beat my ass with Zamazenta. It's insane. Next is Eternatus. I'm putting you in B-. You're about as good as these two. Eternatus is a Stallman. It's a Stallman. You put it next to Wo-Chien and Glamora. You run Cosmic Power. You run Recover. You run Flamethrower. You run either Toxic or Sludge Bomb. It just doesn't die. And then you PP stall because you have pressure. It's annoying. Eternatus is the one thing that has finally made Wo-Chien viable. And I said this in a previous video, shout out Moxie Boosted, he's losing friends because of this. SP Calyrex Ice Rider, joining Zacian in A+. I think Calyrex Ice Rider is potentially the third best restricted right now. It's unlike every other team you'll see on ladder. This Pokemon is the one Pokemon that makes you think, maybe Clear Amulet was a mistake. You know, maybe we shouldn't have given the Pokemon with the Pokemon whose one weakness was Intimidate and immunity to Intimidate. And then it can click Terra Grass out of a Spore weakness. So, it's insanely bulky. It's mainly... Calyrex Ice Rider is the reason why, like, basically the rest of the Trick Room restricteds are all the way down here. Because they just don't match up to Ice Rider. Ice Rider's insane. And it's only going to get better when we get double restricteds. Next is going to be Shadow Rider. This is the best restricted. Hands down. It's not even close. This thing is absolutely insane. There's a reason it's on like 70% of teams. It's a reason why Incineroar is basically mandatory. Incineroar should have 1 Incineroar usage because of this Pokemon right here. It's because Incineroar walls it and threatens it with knockoff, but Calyrex is so good that it doesn't care, and you will continue to run it. Basically this format, to win in this format, you either run Calyrex or you beat Calyrex. You saw in my last video, you get it in the right place once and it's game over. Next gonna be Koraidon. I'm a Koraidon believer, as I'll talk about more in my next video, but Koraidon has more flexibility than Groudon. In my opinion, its typing is better right now. Its damage is insane. It has a Choice Band set, it has 2 Clear Amulet sets, it has a Choice Scarf set, it has an Assault Vest set, it has a Loaded Dice set. So it has flexibility with sets. It has basically everything you need. The only thing it unfortunately has is a Flutter Mane weakness. But for that, I've been running Flame Charge. Flame Charge helps against both Flutter Mane and Zacian. But again, I'll talk more about Koraidon in the next video. Next is Miraidon. Miraidon is also incredibly stupid. The best set is by far the Choice Spec set. You run Electro Drip, Volt Switch, Dazzling Gleam, and Draco Meteor. The amount of things that Choice Specs, Electric Terrain, Hadron, Engine, Boosted, Electro Drift, that KOs a lot of things. That will KO insanely bulky Pokemon like Calyrex. I've one-hit KO'd a Fire Pond with Volt Switch before. I've one-hit KO'd Flutter Mane with Volt Switch. It's one of the reasons why Rillaboom's so popular right now. Because if you don't want to get just ran over by Miraidon, you have to run Rillaboom. Then lastly, it's going to be Terapagos. This is the second best restricted. It has 2 sets. It has the Carmine set and it has the Choice Spec set. The Choice Spec set, the team needs to be built around it. And by built around it, I mean you can run you run Incin, Rilla, Shamungus, Tornadus next to it. You pivot around while it gets set up, and then once you're ready, you just unleash Terra Starstorm, and then you don't die because you're insanely bulky, and you have multiple special defense boosts, and probably multiple Intimidate drops on the opponent because of Incineroar. So, that's my restricted tier list. Those are my thoughts on all the restricteds. Yeah, I'm kind of burnt out now. This is my 3rd video I've recorded today, but yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.